Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our lovely staff and they can introduce themselves and then we can begin our presentation for the day.
Yes, that's maybe starting with me. My name is Lori Moran. I'm one of the professors of the program and I'm also the current coordinator. And we have some other faculty and we have some wonderful students with us. Figure you'd rather hear from them and their experience in some areas than from what I might say. So I'll let them introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Rios, and I'm one of the professors in the EA-SNS program.
Yeah, I'm Annika. Hi. I'm a student who's graduating in April from the EA-SNS program.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm also graduating from the EA-SNS program.
Awesome.
My name is Anna McQuiston, and I'm the International Student Advisor for this program. And my role is to help you with any academic concerns, whether you're not doing well in classes, whether you need to add or drop courses, you would come to see me. If you have any immigration concerns, if your application, or not your application, but if your status in Canada is running out, you would come to see me and we would set up some time to apply for an extension. This program does require a co-op permit. So again, that's something I can help you with. And once you completed this program, you would be entitled to apply for a postgraduate work permit as long as you met the criteria along the way, and we can help you with the postgraduate work permit as well.
All right, we're going to go through a bit of a PowerPoint, and as you'll see, there's a bit of a pattern, and I've thrown in some pictures because one of the supports we provide for individuals within our program and that we coach our students to use is visual supports. And I'm a great fan of pictures, you know, the old cliche, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I think they can really kind of represent and provide an additional support to people who are working to understand something or visualize or conceptualize an idea. So you'll see those throughout. I was very strategic, no pun intended, in how I selected them. And one of the biggest reasons I think you might want to choose this program over some other wonderful ones within the province is that around the province, there are EA programs to work in the school system to be an educational assistant. And there are DSW programs, developmental services worker programs, that target primarily working in adult settings, although some of them do carry over and work into the school system as well. But our college program is actually a program that addresses both, trains you for both, gives you experiences in both settings. And when you come in on that track of your career goal and your dream and your path, there'll be some courses that fully fit both fields for employment and other courses that are more targeted to working with adults versus children or working in the school system or working in the system that's predominantly funded and supported by the Ministry of Community and Social Services with their different rules and regulations and protocols in place that you could also be aware of. We're also, and I'll go through these in the following slides, but just simply with that, it means you also have 2 career opportunities. There's some links that I'll mention in a couple minutes to some continued education. And I am going to plug our faculty team for a minute here. We have a very diverse team who have a range of experiences in education that stem from teaching degrees. We've had people who were educational assistants themselves. We have people that have worked in both the adult settings and in education. And we have people who are really into technology and others who rely on them to get us through some of our technology issues. And we have a diverse but cohesive team in the sense that our strengths, and I'll admit our weaknesses, complement each other to benefit the students. And as a result of the diversity of our team, diversity of our program, diversity of the experiences that I'll explain in the next couple of slides in more detail, our student employment rates and job satisfaction are very high, regardless of what field they choose. And often they choose both and work in both. And I'll speak to that as well. please stay with us for the next few minutes while we go through this and we explain it in a little bit more detail and you hear from some others, not just me, that explains why this is seriously worth your consideration. And I don't think it would be a decision you would regret. Next slide, please, Haley.
Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Rios, and I'm a professor at Niagara College in the School of Community Services. Over 13 years ago, I went back to school. Now, the college that I attended offered only the educational assistant program. This is the great thing about Niagara College. It offers a dual program. So when you graduate, you both will have the qualifications to work as an educational assistant, as well as a special needs support worker. The other great thing about Niagara College is in the 4 terms that you are here with us, you will have 3 placement experiences where we both put you in an educational setting as well as an agency setting. This is key because even though you may think you know what you want to do, once you get the exposure, you'll then really know where you want to work best. A lot of the students that I have taught and worked with started our program thinking that they wanted to become an educational assistant. After their placement within an agency, they realized their skill set and their love of their job in an agency was greater than the educational assistant. Now, that being said, we still have a lot of students who do both because they love to work within the educational arena, but as well, they love supporting individuals within an agency. My journey was a little different. I only could be working within an educational setting, such as a school. When I started, I thought I wanted to be in the primary level. I thought I wanted to work with small children. My professor challenged me to do a placement in a high school, and that terrified me. But it was one of the best things I've ever done. I spent most of my career working in a high school, supporting individuals with special needs. And that was from everything from an educational component to personal care to social skills, because we can't assume that everyone we work with have the same social skills that we do. And that was very rewarding. One of the things I really loved when I was working was doing the things that were above and beyond what was going on in the school. We did tons of class trips, and they varied from an overnight camping trip, which was awesome because a lot of our students had never been camping, to overnight trips. Our school that I worked at, we did cruises where we would go on a cruise from New York to the Caribbean. We did weekend trips or during the weekday trips to Montreal, to Toronto, to Ottawa. These were great experiences for our individuals because a lot of the time they can't travel because of the constraints and the lack of support. We were able to support them and give them an incredible experience. So it's not just about being in the classroom, or it's not just being in their home, helping to support them. It's giving them a life that is most fruitful to them, giving them that experience that we all get, that we sometimes take advantage of. But the best part is the rewards that we see when the person that we are supporting accomplishes something, even a small task. There is nothing better than knowing that you've given them a skill to make them independent. And that is the one thing that I truly love about being an educational assistant. And even more so now that I get to pass that passion on to the students that I'm currently teaching. One of the great other things about Niagara College is the professors within the educational assistant special needs support program. We all come from different backgrounds, but we've all been in the field. We're able to give you our experiences and help you navigate to make your own experiences. So some of the professors have agency-based experience. There's a few of us who come directly out of the education system, but all of us work together to give you the best resources, the best skill sets, the best knowledge that we possibly can to help prepare you for your career. One thing that I really enjoy as well is those 3 placements. Those are key. They give you that safety net of learning that you get to what I call create your toolbox of knowledge and skill set and strategies that help you navigate your day-to-day job. Because one thing that is really important while you're working within this field is to be extremely flexible. Something that you try today may not work tomorrow, and that's okay, because you have so many other skill sets in that toolbox that you could pull out and try today with the individual that you're working with. The other thing that to keep in mind as well is it's a teamwork environment. Everybody helps everybody out to achieve the best for the individual that you are supporting. When you have a great team, success is unlimited. You can achieve anything. And that is one thing that I really enjoy about Niagara College and my colleagues and the students that I work with. I always encourage my students to come and visit me in my office, to shoot me an email if they're wanting more information about anything. It's so important to constantly create dialogue between myself, my colleagues, my students, and I still keep in contact with all the friends that I've made that are still working in the field. And I've branched out and made tons of new contacts with agencies. So I'm learning as well. I think that is so important, to be a lifelong learner. So I hope you really think about Niagara College as an option, because between our staff, our program, and the students that come through and are successful for their future careers, Niagara College is the way to go. Thank you.
All right. Anne-Marie's video clip, thank you, by the way, for providing that and joining us today about the dual focus career piece. And she spoke to our 3 placements. One is usually in an educational setting, one is in one of the adult service sector agencies. And often our students take the option of having their third one being a paid employment opportunity, where they're actually working in the field. They've been hired by an agency or they've been hired by a school board, and they work that around their schedule. And this was true before COVID, and that counts as their third placement. So actually many of our students are employed before they graduate. This year, 60% are already employed. So that helps with your economic situation and your experience situation. So that's a great bonus often that's available for your third placement. Screen change, please. Some of the placements, we use our local school boards. If you have natural tendency to want to use a different language, the French language options are available for placements. There's also private schools. Some of our students request to be in a Christian school background, a placement, or look at alternative placements. We have our Niagara Children's Center. Our community living have some children's residences for children. The adult settings, here's a list, but of some of them, it's larger than this, but community living have agencies in most regions. Literacy and basic skills programs, they're run through school boards where they support adults to develop literacy and numeracy skills. And there's a variety, March of Dimes and Christian Horizon, some of the more common, maybe known names for agencies, but we have a whole bunch of agencies that we work with in partnership to provide placement opportunities where there's supervision, there's coaching, there's training. They work with our placement officer, making a good match between the student and the agency. On occasions, we've arranged placements for someone closer to their home if they're commuting, or if they have a particular agency that they want to work in, and if we can, make an assessment on that and go, yes, it's a really good match, it fits our mandates. Those kind of things on an individual basis have also been set up in the past. In terms of our curriculum, though, right now everything is online except for our placement kind of things, but we have, generally speaking, face-to-face, in-class, experiential learning opportunities, case studies, practice opportunities, and a chance to sort of make mistakes in a safe environment, working with each other, and those skills can then be transferred out to your placements and potentially to career. Our ministry standards, we align and we work with and meet both, and that's why we can say we are a dual focus program in terms of our curriculum. We meet these standards, the Ontario ministry standards for both that developmental services worker program and the educational supports program, and the Ministry of Education and their requirements for employability skills and competence. And we align with their values and principles, and we promote the respect for diversity and inclusivity in our program, in our classes, and in our training models. So a couple of highlights. a knowledge base of various exceptionalities and disabilities, personal supportive strategies. The boring part, but you need to be aware of it, is that legislation and policies piece and best practices. You'll get to experiment with assistive technologies. You will get reintroduced to some of the current school board curriculum. I've seen lots of people say, oh, that new math, I don't understand it. Well, we won't teach it to you as such, but we will let you be aware of it and give you the resources so you can go into a placement and actually be informed and be a support as well. And we'll provide you with links to some additional training. Next. Here is one of our other professors, and she'll actually speak to a couple of the curriculum kind of things. She's in the box at the bottom. Her name is Barb.
I come from a rich background in the elementary piano where I taught for 20 years, either in junior classroom, primary classroom, or intermediate classroom, as well as an LRT. I want to talk to you about some of your courses that you might be taking so that you get a feel for what it will be like in the classroom here at Niagara College. Two of the courses that you will take will be math and literacy courses. The focus of these courses is not to teach you the subject, but rather to teach you how to teach literacy and numeracy skills to a variety of different learners. You will learn how to support those learners using concrete materials, visual supports, and teaching techniques that are evidence-based. The class offers new ways of looking at it. Another area of interest is the assistive technology course. In this course, you will be exposed to a variety of assistive technologies that are used across the lifespan, whether you were working in an elementary school, high school, or whether you're working for an agency. You will be using iPads, computers to develop your own hands-on materials and online interactives to support people to gain communication and academic skills. We also have access to an on-site snooze living room, and you will learn about the various sensory equipment and how it is used to support your clients or your students. As well, you'll get a chance to explore the virtual reality and how it is used as both a therapeutic and educational tool. There are lots of great educational experiences and learning opportunities here at Niagara College. And if you see me roaming around the halls, be sure to say hi.
But I am actually my third year at Niagara College. When I first got here, I came for volleyball mainly, so I didn't know if I wanted to stay more than a year. So I just took general arts and sciences. After my first year, though, I really loved the community at Niagara, and I thought about what I would take next. So then I found the educational assistant program, and it fit a lot of what I'm passionate about in terms of education and supporting people who have unique needs in the classroom. So I decided to give it a shot, and I absolutely loved it. The professors and faculty are all amazing. The placements, cannot say enough about those, like the opportunities you have to just get out there and be in the field. In the first placement, you feel like you're not ready at all. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I should be actually working with these people and with kids, but you learn things so quickly when you're just in the thick of it, and they prepare you well for it. And yeah, some of my most rewarding times were just, as Anne-Marie said in her video, were with kids who just had like these breakthroughs. One week I was like super burnt out, like just so frustrated with my progress with a student, like we weren't getting anywhere. And then the end of the week he was writing by himself, which was one of our goals. And it is so exciting and so rewarding to come alongside them and celebrate all their successes and challenges, and yeah, just work with them. So it's been a really great experience, and I would definitely recommend the program and everything.
I just want to add as well that Annika was a member of the women's volleyball team as well. So she balanced not only her studies and her co-op, but also the sports side of it as well. So don't think that you were limited by just the program. Just wanted to add that. Thanks, Annika.
Thank you.
Hi, so I'm graduating this year, like I said before. I originally chose Niagara College because like I knew I wanted to work in the developmental kind of sector, but I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go in. And I'm still kind of on the fence, but luckily after I got through with my first term, I actually got recommended for a job within mainstream services in the adult sector and as like a full job, thanks to the amazing faculty at Niagara College. And I've been working there ever since and I love it. And honestly, I feel like Niagara College like prepared me so well for it. Like I feel like honestly, I feel like I walked in and yeah, it was like stressful, but I knew exactly like everything that they asked me to do, it had been covered in classes. And I really appreciated all of that. And as far as like the transition to like virtual learning, I felt like it was very smooth. And I think that a lot of the professors like really took the time to make things engaging and really taking the time to answer any questions with the students. Really, I have nothing but great things to say about Niagara College.
And I just want to give a shout out to Kristen as well. This is not her first foray into college. She had a different program at a different college and then came to ours. So for those of you that this might be a second career or another jump because you weren't satisfied, don't let yourself be limited. So a huge shout out to Kristen as well for giving Niagara College a try after your previous college and your previous diploma. We're happy that you had come to our way and our fun and our experience.
I'm so glad I did.
Yay! So this is a great actually program and opportunity for our students. You can link your transfer credit bridge to a degree at Niagara University, and you can earn a BA degree in developmental disabilities from Niagara University in 2 years as they credit Niagara College EA SNS diploma as the first 2 years of their program. This is an amazing opportunity because like myself, who went to a college for being an EA, I then had to go back to Teachers College because I felt that I was limited within being an EA. I knew I wanted to do more. I was lucky that I had an undergrad degree, but this bridging program allows you to take your 2 years with us and then just do another 2 years with Niagara University and get your BA degree. And that is a wonderful opportunity because it opens up so many more doors for you. It doesn't limit you. And I don't know how many of you out there are like me. I'm a lifelong learner. I honestly, every time I think I'm done and I feel overwhelmed with the amount of essays and exams and that, I take a break and then I join up for another program because I feel that there's always something to learn within our field and it's important to stay on top. Next, Haley. Dual routes for program completion. So the main route is you start in September and you go to April, you get your summers off and then you come back and do another year. We have a fast track. So you start in January and you go straight through. So there is not that full summer off. There are usually about typically, am I correct in saying 2 weeks between terms? 2 weeks, thank you everyone. 2 weeks between terms. But typically if you start in September, you go September to April, you have the summers off, and then you start again September to April, and it's 2 years, or we call it a 4-term. If you're starting on the fast track, you're starting in January and you just keep going. So you're going through the spring and the summer sessions as well. And what happens is for those who are starting in January, you merge with those students who started in September. You kind of come all together, and the language you might hear at college is like cohorts. I hear different terms all over the place, but cohort is a good way. You merge with that September cohort and you just become one big group, which is awesome because then you learn a little bit more of the experience that they've had at their placements, and you get to meet new people, which is awesome. Oh, Laura gave me a thumbs up, so I'm good. And then the program success stats. These are the ones that make me so happy. So we have these indicators at the end of each year. Our students give us some feedback of how we're doing. And so right now we have our student satisfaction rate of 92.4%, which Really great work. Graduation satisfaction rate, 100%. Graduation employment rate, 100%. And employer satisfaction rate is 100%. Those last two 100% mean a lot in the way that we want to give you the skills that you will use so that you get employment. There's nothing worse than having all this education and not having a job. You will not have to search for a job. In terms of having a hard time with it, the jobs are out there. Many of my colleagues both work both. They love working during the day as an EA, and at night they love supporting in the agencies and the group homes. So don't think you're limited. Don't think you can only do one. You can do both. But having these employers, what we call our stakeholders, come back and tell us that they're really happy with the level of students that we are producing as a staff makes me incredibly happy, because I used to be there. There's nothing better than hearing positive comments about our students so that we know that we're on track. We still stay in contact. We still have meetings with these stakeholders so that we know what the expectations are in the field for you guys. And we want to make sure that we're giving you everything that you guys need. And I think, am I done? Is that the third and out? Oh, no, one more. Two more.
POE graduate perspective, although I believe it's just a read through.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Haley. So this is from 2018, 2019 grad perspective from an employee. Niagara College has created the stepping stones to establish a foundation for an uplifting and challenging career as an educational assistant. Through the combination of school and work experiences, I have learned to look beyond the big picture, meaning it's not about the big picture, it's about the small steps, the bright smiles, the new words repeated, the task strips completed, and the aha moments on the child's face when they checked off the done column. These small but powerful fundamentals have opened my eyes and brightened my soul to the endless possibilities of a success of a child. Next slide. Always remember, celebrate the small steps, laugh at the silly faces, use a calm voice to settle an upset heart. Know that you are not alone with the countless professional individuals to support you during your challenging times, and never give up on yourself. Like I have always said to my own children, tomorrow is a new day. And this was an EA that was in a kindergarten class. And for someone who actually worked as an EA, those were my days. She couldn't have said it any better. So I guess this last one, yay. Hope you consider continuing your journey to a bright future, guided by the supportive lights of the EA SNS program that can empower you to competently choose your route and safely arrive at your desired destination.
Does anyone have any more tidbits or fun facts or stories about your experiences in the program, either as faculty or students, or at Niagara College in general?
Well, I want to just say, and maybe Annika could speak to this, Kristen, not as much because of COVID. I tend to have sour peas in my office. And if that's the incentive to come to Niagara College to our program, that sour pea bucket will always be there. And all of us in the hallway are more than happy to have you guys come. My biggest thing is please ask, because if you don't know, how do you know?
Yeah, and that was the thing that like I just loved about the faculty. Like they care about your academics and your professional success, of course, but like they care about your development as a person and about just like life stuff. And so developing those relationships with professors that was more than just the classroom was super exciting, and wasn't something that I was used to coming out of high school, but was definitely something great. And then I can always refer back to them if I need help or questions when I'm out in the field and anything like that. So
I just wanted to say, like, to remind people that how, like, it's very, very easy to get a job out of this program. Like having multiple people like fighting over you is like kind of like a norm, I think. So at least in my experience. So like if you want like a really stable career, this is definitely it. Just saying, especially during a pandemic.
Awesome. That's an awesome fun tidbit. I love that. Well, again, we will be here for the full duration. So if you think of further questions, please feel free to ask them. If you leave the session and think, oh, I wish I had asked this, please come back in and talk to us. We do have contact information on our website. So if you go to niagaracollege.ca, you can type in one-on-one in the search bar and you can have a session with one of either myself or one of my fellow recruiters. You can also scroll to the bottom of the Niagara College website and there is a contact us form. So if you think of any questions in the future, please feel free to go to that form and the form will take your question and give it to the appropriate department.